Now. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to April 3rd, my baby brother's birthday edition of Kubernetes Upstream community meeting. He's very near and dear to my heart. So happy birthday out there, Dill. And today we are going to be doing mostly a working session, which is awesome because so many of us have so many deliverables that we want to get done. So we're here together as a team and doing some co-working. But before we get started, we do have some things going on. First things first, welcome if this is your first meeting. Second, if it is your first meeting, we'll do some intros here in a second. So get ready if you would like to do an intro. And the third thing is we do have a code of conduct. Let's be excellent to each other. I know most of us do know the majority of people in this room, but let's still try to be nice to each other, y'all. No, but yeah, it's a small group, so I'm okay with either like interrupting me or whatever. That's totally fine. And is there anybody else on the call right now that would like to give an intro that maybe doesn't know many faces on the call right now that would? All right. And if you decide to change your mind, if anybody here would like to do a new intro or whatever, just holler it out during our working session and we'll be happy to say hi. All right, now let's move into some really quick stand-ups. I'm not going to go through our normal sections today. I'm just going to have an open stand-up. So if anybody on the line has updates from last week they want to share or challenges, need a collaborative buddy, whatever that you would like to discuss that's not necessarily like, I'm going to get work done, speak now or forever hold your peace. Chris, I think you did some things. You like turned some things on, right?
So yes, I turned some things on. The Kate's contributor Twitter handle is up and running. No real content yet, but like I feel like I've actually been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff for Red Hat as far as like how do we feed content into the Red Hat beast, right? And like I figured that all out, and the way they're doing it, it actually makes a lot of sense for them, and it could make sense for us too, in the sense of like they feed everything into a file, and then that file then has tweets, created out of it somehow.
Yeah.
But they are using, I think they're doing more manual stuff, and we're just going to automate it. So the tool, is there sitting there. I need to test it out, and that is actually like in my to-do list for next week.
Yeah, no worries.
But then we also need to figure out like what to tweet, who to tweet about, those kinds of things, and that is where I would like y'all's input, right? Like I really felt like what was it, last weekend when I set up the account, I could have said something like I could have done the two blog posts or at least the SIG observability, SIG scalability blog posts. Like I felt like tweeting that out, but I didn't feel like I had consensus or anything around like style or like what to say or anything. So I'm free game for right now to kind of like free wield it a little bit to like, okay, let's see what works, let's see what doesn't kind of thing. But at some point we need to have like a good voice for this account, right?
Yeah, I am. I will definitely say let's not just willy-nilly this.
No,
so,
absolutely not.
I would like you to go out of the gate with something more than like let's just retweet some contributors. So I guess hold the horse for one sec until we can get some more T's crossed. I'm really glad that one, it's up to, like it says, under construction. 3, you did apply for the API, correct? I had to do that as an AI, and then I saw that you pinged in Slack and you said you did it.
And I actually did it for 2 accounts because I did the wrong
That's
one.
Fine.
Bob found.
I'm cool. I just want to make sure that it's not like no,
it's done. It's applied for. It's going to come to the contributors account, I think.
The contributors at Cruise.io.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I got the notification on my personal email first. I'm like, I don't remember requesting a token or my personal Twitter.
Yeah, okay, no. So I did the Kate's community one. Like, I don't know. Like, I was reading the PR and like all the names got crossed in my head somehow, right? Like, I've been very kind of like, I don't know, in crisis mode the past couple weeks. So I'm trying to get out of that. But yeah, like I did all this work and I was like, oh, I'm so happy. And then Bob's like, hey, that was the wrong account. And I'm like, damn it.
All right. Okay, cool. So, well, we're all chilling here today to do some work. So, hang out with us. Anybody else have any updates at all? And that, again, that's fine if you don't. We're about to hit the work.
I think just one small nugget is that we got, I think week prior, we got an interview done with the SIG cluster lifecycle folks. And this week we got a loose outline defined. So we're primed and ready for the working session.
Yeah. Yeah. And then are there any bloggers on the line right now or storytellers rather, sorry, that are not working anything that would like to work something? And that it's okay if you're working. I'm not like trying to give y'all 40 things to do. All right. So if there's anybody on the line that wants to take a story, there's plenty of stories. All right. So, all right. I've got my little like checklist out of stuff I want to work on. So what are y'all going to work on this session? All right. Let's all get out our stuff. Or does anybody else have any talking points that they wanted to address with the group at all, or discussion topics? Actually, Jonas, it looks like you're writing something right now. Do you want to talk about access?
Yeah, no, just the working session here. So yeah, the multi-channel communications document. So I've been working on that. So I just want to, if someone else can read through it and see what I'm missing, that'd be great.
Yeah. And I was thinking too that we could just like not briefly, but like just maybe even skim KDev over like the last 10 months of like the subjects, and even sort of categorize some of that stuff too. Like, so, we could get a sense of like what's coming and what's going there as far as like action required and FYIs and stuff like that. Cool.
There'll be lots of release stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be one heck of a haiku.
And I guess that's another thing too, Jonas, because like the release team is sort of like contributor summit team in a sense where like they have someone that does marketing. However, that marketing individual really is geared towards, as maybe, and I see Taylor shaking his head, it's more geared towards like end users, what's coming, features, stuff like that. Not necessarily those like inward components. I think that's a lot of the other roles, like, CI Signal is doing stuff with contributors, like you'll see, that kind of stuff at Code Freeze. So I'm wondering how we could either like support them with the contributor side a little bit better to get that, consistent messaging there, or if we just leave that alone completely and we do zero with release. I think those are some of the things that we should think about there.
Where I do think things could work with release is specifically around the deadlines. It's like we are, enhancements must be complete by this date. Code freeze is this date. Those are good things to be like funneled to Twitter and some of the other avenues that we can like. One of the big action items in our retro is we need to communicate more, even though we send messages to like KDev and other things. So like
in the retro when you said communicate more, so it was mainly around deadlines then?
It wasn't just deadlines. There was more things in the issues itself, but like that is like we had a very large amount of exceptions this time around. And
all right, so that was one of the hot buttons at least. Like
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So Jonas is working on some, excuse me, some internal mapping of stuff, y'all. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to be working in the background on some editorial handbooky stuff, so I can lead by example there, so you can see what we're doing as far as like rule books and stuff like that. Also, Chris, I have quite a few things that I wanted to update with social guidelines. I'll just copy and paste those into the chat in a second after I'm done with my soliloquy here. And so, yeah, that's going to be something. Oh, and also I'm going to be working on the calendar, and I'm linking, I did make us a marketing and editorial calendar from the contributor account. So that is a community owned thing. No one individual here will own it. And I did give us all access via community and then my next kind of like thing right off of that is who here needs access to community . So the obvious one is Jonas, and Jonas, I think you may already, or you either have or had community access via the summit at one point.
I think I had. I'm not sure I still have.
Okay, cool. All right, and I'll do that live.
This Samudrala, I think I also need it. I think I don't have that.
Likewise.
And then
If I
Chris,
need it.
yep. And so here, the deal, some of the owners got together of the contributor account, and that's pretty much all of the approvers in the communication folder. And the problem with giving everybody access to the contributors account, I'm actually, hold on one second. All right, and so I'll get everybody access to that today live. And Bob, remind me one more time, is community now on the PR only? Okay.
Yeah, it's PR only to K8.io and groups.yaml.
Yep. Groups.yaml.
The only
Does
thing
anybody
is
want a free PR right now? Is anybody looking for PRs to do? I don't think so. I think everybody here is, everybody on the line right now is a member that needs to be a member, by the way. And when I say that member, I mean to the GitHub organization. Okay, cool. All right. So I will do that. I'll PR us in, and all of the leads will at least get that. So we're talking about Jonas, Chris, Taylor. I think you already have access, right? Or you need it?
I might need it. I'm not sure if I do right now.
Okay. And I'll also do it for Tunde, for Shadow, for internal. Who else will need community access?
This is Samudrala.
Okay. All right. And then, all right, feel free to, start working on whatever you're working on. Open chat. We can chat about it. Oh, Rajula, you said I'm not a member yet. Would love to take up the PR. Yes, that's awesome. Yeah. Here, let me give you I'll give you the direct link.
Yay.
And I missed that first 10 minutes. Sorry, I was on the call. So did we go to the quick stand-ups already? Or we did?
Yep, we did. Not many of us, especially me, and I mean, I'm taking a hit here. Many of us, including myself, did not unfortunately get some things done this week. So we're just going to do a quick working session here.
Yeah,
so,
same thing with me, the PR, which was last week, did not go through. But the other thing, I had a meeting with Taylor this week, and we had come up.
Good.
We had come up with the outline for the next blog post. So I'm working on it. So it's in progress. So by next week's meeting, we should be done with SIG cluster lifecycle. We should have everything blog posted, written, and then reviewed with Taylor. And the second thing is regarding SIG node. I went through, but no one responded. So I did shift to SIG auth, and those guys responded, and those were very, as soon as I posted, they were like, next week we'll meet, and they were discussing on it. So maybe next week I'll have a meeting with the SIG auth SIG also, and then I'll have the review.
That's awesome. I appreciate, and I like the tenacity to jump to something else. So that's good. Like if y'all feel like, especially the storytellers, we have 40 groups, y'all. So if you ever feel like, hey, people aren't getting back to me, that could just be like, wow, they're really busy and trying to land some features right now. Come back later kind of thing, or, whatever it is, right? But if you ever feel blocked and you're a storyteller, just move on to the next one. And then like talk about it in here, and then either myself or somebody else that might be in like one of the SIG meetings can flag them that, hey, we're trying to do a nice thing for you. So they just might need some context and things like that. We also really haven't done a lot of work introducing ourselves to the group. So again, I'm gonna be working on the meta blog post here as well, which is something super late on too. And once we get the meta blog post done, I feel like that will set off a chain of reactions for us so that we can just start generating a lot more work, because I wanted to get that out so it sets context for people so that we're not like, in the wild and people are like, who are these people? So I'll work on that right now as well. And then Samudra, where were you asking Node? Was it like in their chat, on their mailing list?
I posted on Slack, and I tagged. So Node, I didn't get the response, so that's why I tagged the people. I tagged the leads and chairs on the auth, so I got the response. So I'll go back to Node, and then I'll post now today on their mailing list. Maybe.
Yeah. Or if you want, it might be better like wait until the meta blog post is done for the people you can't get a hold of. And then what we can do is if you can't get a hold of them, then you can like email their mailing list and say, hey, I'm a part of this crew. Check us out. Like, we're trying to do this thing.
Sure, that works. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll give you a little bit more context and validation too when you're going to folks. All right. So yeah, let me do P0 this meta.
I have a meta, like a GitHub question.
Yeah.
Parrish, you opened an issue for a guideline thing, and I cannot find it to save my life. Like, how do people find issues when they can't like find them?
Search by label on the
Okay.
Hold on, let me get.
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you. I just needed the nudge.
It's also on the board.
Oh, it is on the board. Okay, cool.
And then Rajul, I did not forget you. I'm getting the direct link right now. And then Rajula, that's the link for groups.yaml, and you'll see in there's an email ID that says community@kubernetes.io. And then you'll see in there's members, managers, and owners. And then you'll have to collect some emails from us. And I can send in, and also if everybody wants to send either Rajula in chat privately or openly, doesn't matter what email to use. If you are getting assigned to community@, that would be great. And then Rajula, when you do the PR, you can include their emails in there. And Bob, as far as ending this, they have to run make, correct?
No, not for groups.yaml. That one though is
what's the gotcha?
stock and backed. So that is, well, I think Aaron can do it too, but they won't sync it immediately. It usually is synced just in the next 24 48 hours.
Okay. When I'll gently ping Aaron too, and let him know that that's on its way right now.
I would do that once the PR is actually there.
Yeah. All right. And then Rajul, of course, if you have any questions, just yell out or in the chat. Happy to help you. All right. And then what else did I have on my list? Oh yeah, y'all, I forgot to tell you. I found an amazing resource, and I'm going to share this. Hold up. I didn't even know that this existed, and lo and behold, I totally forgot that the Fedora project has docs for everything. Lo and behold, Fedora has a marketing department. And I was like, so Fedora's marketing
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, and
hats off.
Literally hats off. Like I pinged Burkus last night. I'm like, Fedora people, put them in contact with me. I want to thank them.
It's an awesome page that just now I was going through. It's nice. We need to get one like that.
Yeah. Well, so And this, I mean, that's fine. We're new. I mean, Fedora's been around much longer than we have, and so
20,
has their
30
marketing
years.
department. And this is what it looks like after that long, right? So this is kind of what I envision our README, and that's kind of like, you know, what we do, mailing list, how to get in contact with us. The one thing that I am going to add, that I have a note to add on my list right now, is this "how can I help the marketing team" blurb, which is freaking awesome. And because right now in our README we have more of like a like how to join us, which is fine, of course. And then they also have a how to join the Fedora marketing project, etc. So they also have a ton of SOPs. Like they even have like a resources that you can use as a marketing person, like we do in ours, that has like the values and stuff like that. I like that. So their marketing SOPs would be our marketing guidelines. And then they also do a lot of focus on release as well. So there's is kind of like all things contributors with a hella focus on release. But they do a lot, like you can see, they'll talk about stories and some of their microblogging and stuff like that. So I'm like, one, I felt a lot of validation. I was like, whew, all right. I was like, we're not out there in the wild alone, so that's good. So we can always call on the Fedora marketing team if we need some help, and all of it's open source. I took a lot of things from their SOPs. I didn't take all of them, especially because some of it's very much related to Fedora. But the one thing that I did see, and this is related to you, Chris, is on the status and microblogging SOP.
Yeah. I'm digging through it all.
The things that I wanted to keep on this, I mean, a lot of it we already have, but the things that I thought we need to keep are, one, we need to list the owners of the Twitter handle on the guideline document. Like they list their owners, like, and who has access. And I mean like individuals, like we will individually call our names out so that people understand who, you know, who is sending the tweets. And then that, like, even if Bob doesn't necessarily send a tweet, I want Bob's name on there, for instance. And then I also wanted to transfer over the negative message sentiment, like no negative messages or disparaging messages. I also wanted to transfer over that we're not going to talk about other CNCF projects unless there's a common contributor cause. They call out other Fedora distros in here. Loved it. But they also said, like, if we're in solidarity for something, we'll obviously tweet it. So, you know, if there's some, like, you know, I don't know, big thing at CNCF that we're trying to change together and like we're all going in, whatever, that kind of thing, that's fine. But like, we're not going to be like, Envoy's looking for contributors, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
What else did I want to take? Oh, and I also wanted to take all messages must be consistent with the values and the principles of the project. I also liked that we shouldn't be talking about individuals outside of our contributor community, with the possible exception that the person is talking about the contributor community. So, I mean, like, they called out Bill Gates, which I thought was hilarious. They called out Bill Gates and was like, Bill Gates isn't related to Fedora, and also Richard Stallman. But yeah, they called out individuals outside of the Fedora community. I mean, I think it's just because there's so much to talk about already. I mean, Fedora at one point was just like, and still is like huge in its own right. So I think that's kind of where they're getting at with this, and I think that's what we should too, because it helps you scope, Chris. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a brick of my notes right now, and then you can do whatever you want to do with them.
Yep.
There's a brick of my notes. Have fun.
Got it.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, if y'all are using any of the SOPs, I mean, I'm sure if you want to take some of the language, that's fine. Give a hat tip to Fedora if you do. And yeah, because the content is available here under the attribution share alike 3.0 unported, which in my, I think, high level license
read
just
that.
means we need to attribute them, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. And I don't think we need to verbatim
unported
quote
mean?
them anyway, because like I said, a lot of their stuff is Mad Libs Fedora. So, but we should, I am on the README going to give them a quick shout out in the disclaimer, just in case there is anything.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
yep. Attribute to Fedora on README for potential quote forking of language. How was everybody else's Friday?
Pretty good so far.
Yeah, off to a good start. Good people.
Yeah, I'm with good people.
That's right. Taylor and I are like just getting started. It's 8:30.
Lunch.
Yeah, y'all are on lunch.
Yeah, it's already 10:30. Maybe one more hour to lunch.
All right. And then now I'm gonna. All right. So now we've got we've got community access PR out. With Rajula, we've got. Oh yeah, let me share. I'll share my screen for those that care to look.
And Paris, what about the project board, Paris? Did we initiate it, or we will? I mean, if it's not taken up, that's okay. But
I'll
just
link it.
open discussion.
Yeah, we'll link it up on the. We can link it up on the agenda. All right, so I've got a. Hold on. Here it is. Marketing editorial calendar and copy.
I still can't find that thing that you put together, Paris, but whatever. Your guideline thing. It's lost in the
I'll get
ether.
it. All of our marketing stuff is under. I feel like I have this memorized.
Contributor.com.
I have this memorized, by the way. It's under community repo, under the communication folder. Because remember, we're all at the end of the day communicating, and marketing team.
Mm-hmm.
And then
specifically for the Twitter. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw maybe I should just search my email. God, that'll be hell. But I'll just do that.
It's the umbrella contributor Twitter account bootstrap issue.
Thank you.
4516.
4516.
And then there is the calendar, editorial calendar at the top. Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. Calendar.
There we go. Thank you, Bob.
All right, so at the top, and I'm going to give you all an ugly link in Zoom, but I did put it as a pretty link on the meeting invite, or not meeting invite, the meeting agenda. Ugly calendar link incoming. And that calendar link can be located on the editorial summary at the top of the agenda document too. So when we go through, when we have things, for instance, in the upcoming week, whether it's the editorial calendar or the contributor events calendar, we can go through that every meeting as a quote project board. In marketing world, a lot of them live and die by this like calendar thing. And I say thing because like I don't live and die by a calendar. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, our personal ones or whatever, but it's very deadline driven calendar kind of thing. And we can keep like random like reminders and ticklers and stuff like that on there that other contributors aren't necessarily going to see, that we don't want to put on the contributor calendar. So things like, you know, what Samladra just said, which is almost done with the blog post, and maybe we'll put something in for next Wednesday, like look out for this blog post or something. Everybody will have access to this calendar that has access to community as soon as we get that PR in. So if you can't see the calendar now, no worries. You're going to have access in a second. And you will have access to both manage and share. Again, you're a trusted you're a trusted resource here. So share at your discretion. So if you need, like, if for instance, if we're training shadows, that's a perfect example. And the shadow that you're training needs access, give them direct access. Don't necessarily give them access to community at. Let's see what else. I think that's it for the calendar. And so I'm starting to put in some dates for the editorial calendar as well. Is there anything special that folks want to see in the marketing and/or editorial calendar? And definitely response is not required now. Let's just start thinking about stuff you want to start keeping track of. GitHub issues are not good with tracking deadlines, y'all. We tried that. I tried that with Contributor Summit. It's hard. It's very painful. Unless we're doing like milestones and stuff like that. Super hard to keep track of communications in GitHub. All right, so that's done. I feel like a weight is off my chest there. Woo! All right. And then
does anyone want to read through the multi-channel guidelines that I wrote up?
heck yeah.
Right.
You better believe it.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll
Do a
share.
live reading.
Yeah. Can we
Yeah,
snap?
Jonas, could you read the author part? That would be great. And stage directions.
Host disabled attendee screen sharing. So
Ooh.
Oh, hold on.
I'm a troll apparently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Advanced share settings. All right. All right, go ahead. Quickly do it. Hurry, Jonas, before we get anybody else that Zoom bombs us. No.
Surprise, Jonas Zoom bombs us.
I know.
Right. So this is taken from Matt's work, Matt's slide deck that he created as well. So I can put this up in a work in progress PR later.
Yeah.
To let you all read through it first. So the goal of this is to provide a clearer way for community members to share and consume Kubernetes information. The motive here, and this is taken from Matt's deck, provide all Kubernetes contributors with a dependable experience of communication to and from the project. Find ways of adding our human touch to potentially overwhelming quantities of information, because we have a ton. Provide clear expectations of what's important, urgent, or otherwise. So action required means action required, and not just, hey, maybe 5 people on the mailing list should read it. Build a process like we build Kubernetes so that our contributors understands it and it works well at scale. As we talked about before, all the outbound communications will have a single source of truth in Kubernetes dev. The justification for this canonical location is per the survey results. It has grown in popularity as the one place to check for contributor news, and it's also highlighted in a bunch of documentation throughout the project. All other communication channels will point to this location because we want to avoid having multiple places with the same info, avoid confusion on where to get the right information, and also create an easier process for information share. Any questions so far?
No.
All right. So then we want to map type of information to a different to different tiers. So the first tier, the first tier is of course action required, and thank you, Paris, for helping me figure out a few examples here. This is where participation by contributors is required. So example 1 is the contributor survey. And example 2, as you mentioned on the call here, would be the code freeze. So I don't know if we want to have that in there or talk about that with the release team at a later date.
I think that's a safe thing to have in there because the release team won't have access to the contributor to the Twitter account and things like that.
Cool. All the other release info should go through the release team though. The marketing stuff and all of that.
Bob, can you do me a favor? Can you lazy link me the release calendar?
I will. Let's see if I can dig that up. I think it's just the SIG release calendar.
Babies, where's that?
I can bring Max down. Don't get me started.
I know. Oh, is that Jonas? Is that you?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh.
No, Aurora was actually on another meeting earlier today, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's been having fun with water beads in the kitchen.
I love those things. Oh my God, those are so cool.
They were amazing. We had never used them before, so we played with them yesterday, and me and my wife were like, "Holy shit, this is therapeutic."
Yes. Like I need a bed of those. Right? Like seriously, like if I slept on those at night, I would probably be a different person.
I'm gonna get a bucket for myself and just have it here by my computer.
So Max actually has 2 buckets, right? So he has a sensory table with a bucket in it, and then he has all the extra ones in another bucket. So I could totally do that. Just stick my hand in it.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah, that worked.
Calendar is linked. I did find it.
Thanks, Bob. All right, the next up here is priority information. So critical information regarding the project's sustainability. Not necessarily everyone needs to take action. So such as voting in the steering committee election. It's only a select group that does this. Do you think that's a good explanation of priority information here?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Next one, feedback appreciated. So information where participation is helpful but not required by everyone in order to be successful, like KEPs.
Yep.
And then important information where we want others to see updates, but it does not necessarily have an action item, like the monthly community meeting schedule or mentors meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much that's all, honestly. You could probably, if we wanted to be a smart ass about it, we could put like almost every contributor experience project. Pretty much anything the contributor experience works on is like we should be giving updates about, because it's like we are the meta contributor group, right? So it's like most things probably fall in, and that honestly, and most things we don't talk about. So like that's why it's like all contributor experience.
If you want a good upcoming example, there's the issue triage KEP. We're probably going to change the process on issue triage. The labels for that.
The priority info example.
Yeah, once it's changed, or at least once the first implementation is set, that would be a good priority, because that would be changing of a workflow. It's not necessarily I don't think there is any breaking changes to this one though, but so that's why I think it would be a good priority info, because it's still available for them to use, and a lot of the vets are eager for it. So
yeah, it's not breaking anything. It's just changing, it's adding a label and changing the meaning of a label.
It looks like though, I think the next phases of implementation may include breaking changes. So that's the kind of language that we should be using too, with the, like, is it going to break all the things, some of the things, or none of the things, but give you life?
If you have your own custom automation using some of these labels, you might have problems.
Yeah. And again, that's one of those pain points that I've talked to Jonas about too, to give some context to the group, is in the past, breaking changes with contributor workflows has caused angst with different people, meaning like we may have solicited buy-in, but we didn't necessarily solicit from all 40 groups, and like 2 out of those 40 now have an issue. So it's just like, who's going to be ticked, who's not? Are we using the right words? Like, are we alerting the right people? Again, that kind of thing. And that's I wanted to give some of that context to folks that weren't Jonas. So like, if you all see anything too, that like needs to be bubbled up more, and you're like, whoa, this is a bigger thing than what it's being portrayed as, like, that's flag it to this crew, and this crew can figure out how to make it a bigger thing than it is. Oh, dang. I just Peter
What is
Griffin.
that?
I just Peter Griffin.
At the end of the doc here, as it is right now, just clarifying the channels of communication as we have talked about before. So KDEV, single source of truth. Make sure you're not burying the lead. Action items should be clearly stated. That's just a common sense, but not always.
Common sense is not a common.
Mm-hmm. Slack. So for Slack, we'll have a short blurb in the related channels for the information about the information on KDEV and link to the canonical post. Same thing on Discourse, short blurb in the related category about the information in KDEV, linking to the canonical post. And then for Chris, I'm going to be the fire host. I'm going to tweet out everything.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Tweets everywhere.
Excellent. So I'll get this up in a work in progress PR.
Oh, and do me a favor, Jonas, for Slack. Let's add some things too. Do me a favor and add a mention of regional contributor channels. Because that's one thing we don't use enough of, and there are quite a few of them in there. Like, so, I mean, I don't know if we need to list them specifically, outside of regional, to give people a heads up to look for them, but they're usually region-dev. Like, there's an EMEA, and there is some other ones, and
I know what you're talking about. I've seen this before.
And then there's also, I would pretty much list all of the contributor-focused Slack channels just so that we know that they're there, because again, a lot of people don't. So there's like Contributor Summit that can be, I mean, obviously we probably wouldn't advertise or promote anything related to the summit, but for instance, I do use that channel when like the contributor survey comes out, because I know everybody in there is like at least aspiring, and maybe they should take it too. So Contributor Summit, and then also there's Chairs and Tech Leads. That's a highly moderated channel, but if there is anything that we're doing that we think needs to be vetted to that crew or whatever it is, definitely we can reach out there. Obviously meet our contributors. I can give you some more, or I can like after your PR, I can go in and PR in like everything, like brain dump everything I know, all the details.
Yeah.
So,
I think I'm writing up the different Slack channels here.
Yeah. And then the other cool thing with that too is if we have that written down, we can see maybe possible automation mapping, inputs and outputs kind of thing. But yeah, no, this is a great doc. Thank you so much, Jonas. Super pumped about this. I think that'll set some good tone for us. Oh, yeah, with like 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes left. I did want to talk about something a little radical.
Whoa.
And I wanted to talk about it's more about our structure. I feel like I have something that makes a little bit more sense. And it's radical in the sense that it has two leaders and not one. And meaning like this would be a co-optive leadership. And what I'm thinking is there's one editor role, and then they would be sharing that kind of vision responsibility also with a marketing lead. And then under the editorial would be designers, people designing newsletters, designing content, A/B testing, storytellers, our SIGDocs liaison, etc. And then under the marketing lead would be a digital arm, which would be social media, and then the website, which could be you. You know, and I mean that in like that phrase, it could be you. And then an internal arm, which is like our like potentially it could be called like a channel manager. And like, you know, and then an internal comms manager. That's kind of the radical thought that I'm thinking right now, just because I feel like as I was doing an editorial handbook, it was like, well, there's more to this role than just editorial. And then that's when I realized, well, it's kind of like shoving two things into one role book. And then it also gives people opportunity to, I don't know, just I guess share this leadership type of position. I mean, I don't have any of that written down really. I just have that. The only thing I have it written down in my notebook. What are radical thoughts there? So then the marketing, and then essentially like once we break off from this like weekly update, if we still do a weekly update kind of thing, then those two teams could potentially have even smaller team meetings, and then y'all could come together on like a bi-weekly basis, for instance, and just do sort of marketing vision, or we had all headed in the same direction kind of calls instead of what we currently have.
I like that. I think it sharpens the focus, kind of like you said, in that you can really, you know, hype up on those specific topics and then just really dive deep with the group and then get good working sessions kicked off of that. So +1 for sure. It makes sense to me.
And then the editor would be able to focus on the stuff that like they don't have, which like right now we don't have a dedicated designer, which I mean, we have a bunch of you that have said like, sure, I'll like throw a Canva together. I'll throw some thumbnails together. It would be cool if we could get like someone that only did that, you know, because then we're not stressed out, burdened down for like whipping out canvas. And it would be kind of cool to like, I don't know, get some kind of newsletter. I think we talked about that with Jonas, like V2 or something, like some kind of contributor newsletter of some variety, like that just aggregated data. Yeah, we also should like think about the website too. And Bob, I don't know, when we do the meta blog post, we could add a line like that says, like, if you're interested in building Doxy websites, come talk to us. And use that as a way to talk about Doxy if you want.
And maybe.
I could tweet about that for sure.
Not yet, Chris. Chris
Well,
is like, I'm ready
not yet. No. I'm talking like when we're ready.
Yeah. The big thing that I honestly need to do is I just need to like take the weekend and play with Doxy for a bit just to make sure that it will work the way I hope it'll work. Right now, we do have the big problem where with all our content living in K community and elsewhere, there are lots of issues with formatting it to work correctly under Hugo. And I just need to make sure like things will render right or potentially change either the style guide or update our content so that way it will work okay under that.
You know what? I lost Zoom chat. What happened to my chat? If y'all have been chatting me, I'm
started
sorry.
turning into a window like on its own. When you go to a full screen, it breaks itself off and you lose it when you come back. It's
I know.
horrible.
Yeah, that is like I'm like, wait, I just realized that I have not even, I was like, wait, is there a chat? Oh, dang it. Yeah, because I flipped your heads a while ago. All right. Dang it. All right. I'm sorry if y'all, is there anything in chat? I'm sorry if anybody's chatting in chat.
Not really. Don't worry about it.
I think Bob is, yeah, Bob has everything.
All right. Sorry, y'all. Now I'm just intrigued as to how do you get the, all right, hold up. Zoom, you're punished.
Out with you.
Really punished.
Right, I gotta drop to another meeting. Putting this PR up now.
Jonas, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a fantastic weekend, everyone.
Yes, you too.
You too, buddy. Thank you.
See you, Oliver. And
You as
yeah,
well,
same with
ditto.
me. Dropping here. Bye, Bob. Bye, Paris. Bye,
Later.
Tim. Bye,
See
Chris.
ya.
See ya.
Adios,
Thanks for
everybody.
your help, buddy.
Talk to y'all soon. Have a fantastic Friday.
All right. Does anybody feel like they don't have anything to do for the next week? All right. And Rajula, do you have what you need for the PR? And you can always ping us in Sig Contribex if you need anything too. I don't know where my chat is, so if you're chatting, Chris will have to read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the members list, right?
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, ping me on DMs if once you have the PR in, and I'll look at it immediately.
Yeah. Can you just tell me what are the names? It's Chris, Samudrala, and Jonas, right?
Yep, it's Chris short, and it's Jonas, and it's I'm already on there, so don't worry about me.
Yep.
And also Matt Broberg as well.
Yeah.
And DM me, and I'll give you his email.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. It was nice catching up with you, and thanks for taking that PR.
Yeah. Can I say something else?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I'm still learning the ropes, but if there's anything small I can help with, yeah, I'd be happy to help.
Yeah. Samuel Draw actually picked up a ton of good first issues in the community repo, and I talked to him last night, and he said that he's not going to have the time to do most of those. So if you search in the community repo for good first issue, you can pick up anything that he did. And there's actually some marketing stuff that's very related to this that's more YAML stuff. It's not necessarily in the groups.yaml, but like the one is in, I think, SIG's YAML, and that's like putting in our meeting time, like stuff like that. But they're easy enough PRs where you can just get the workflow down, and I mean, they're good enough PRs for you just to like get the workflow down.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, there's at least 3 to 4 of those in the community repo. So feel free to pick any of them up. And I would love it. There's some of them that are urgent. So I can even do like reviews on the spot.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Yes. And yeah, we meet here weekly for at least another probably 3 to 4 weeks until we break off and decide in the different cadences.
Okay.
All right. And now I'm 2 minutes late for my next meeting as well. And now I'm like, I don't even know how to end the call, y'all. Like my entire, the entire, like all I see is
Mac?
faces.
Are you on a Mac?
Yes.
Okay, so do a command tilde and see, like when you're in Zoom, see if there's another window hiding somewhere.
No. Oh my God. No. Yes. You know what? Hold on. I think it's, there you are. There you are. Hold on. No, I had to do, exit full screen. That was, and
yeah.
The full screen was on the other mirrored image and like, anyway.
Yep.
All right, y'all. It's been real.